Shalom. Call Hala Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone, the time is truth. And Shalom also to the Akim pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. And to the speckled bird across the four corners of the world, and to the few sisters who are listening to you, I say Shalom. Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson, and it's just going to be a quick, very quick lesson on something that I want to expound on, because I was reading the book of John, and the Yahushua says this many times, but I'm gonna get John 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 34. It says, John 4:34, Yahushua saith unto them, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me, and to finish his work. And that's right. When Yahushua came, he didn't come to do his own will. He didn't come to chase his own vain dreams or none of that. He came to do the will of the Lord. To do the will of the Lord, to please the Father. That's what he wanted to do. And I speak as a man when I say this. Yahushua probably didn't have dreams. His dream most likely was this, because he knows that he's the Alpha and the Omega. He knows that he was there with the Father since the beginning. So when he came when he came down to earth, when the Word became flesh, he basically he came to do the will of the Father. And this is repeated many, many times in all throughout the scriptures, right? This is John 6:38. It says, for I came down from heaven not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me. And that's right. When Yahushua came down from heaven, he came to do the will of the Father, not the will of himself, right? Because if he came down to do his own will, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have the words that we have today. So we know that by him doing the Father's will, many of the scriptures got fulfilled as well. Many things got fulfilled, and there are still some things that had to be fulfilled as well. So when he comes back the second time, he's gonna actually fulfill it to down to the T. Isaiah 63 still has to be fulfilled. Isaiah 61, which mentions the gospel, all those things are gonna be fulfilled when Yahushua comes back, right? Ezekiel 37, the dispersed of Israel getting gathered back together, both the kingdoms becoming one, right? And that's happening right now before your faces. The Israelites are gathering together before your face, which are the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the speckled bird, which are the the scattered Israelites, the real true biblical Israelites, right? So when he comes back again, he's coming to do the will of the Father, just as he did when he came the first time, to do the will of the Father. This is John 7, and I'm going to start at 16. It says, John 7:16, Yahushua answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. So even the doctrine that he taught, it was not his own doctrine. It was the things that the Father told him to speak. He didn't speak of himself. He spoke of the things that the Father wanted him to speak. His doctrine wasn't his own, right? That's pretty straight to the point. He came to do the Father's will. I'm going to get one more scripture, and I'm going to end it off. This is going to be a short lesson that I wanted to make, while reading the book of John, because I noticed he repeated it many, many times as I was taking notes. This is John 12:49. For I have spoken not of myself, right? So he didn't speak from himself. He didn't speak of his own will, none of that, right? He spoke what the Father told him to speak. But the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. So even down to the T, he spoke what the Father told him to speak. He did the Father's will, and that's the only things that he came to do. He didn't come to fulfill, his own dreams, his own pleasures, his own things that he wanted to do in the flesh. None of that. He came to do the Father's will. You know, he got straight to the point. That's why in the scriptures he told his parents, when they were trying to look for him, he does it. He's about his father's business. I'm gonna actually end it off on that. This is Luke 2:49, and he said unto them, how is it that ye sought me? Was ye not that I must be about my father's business? So he told his parents, actually I'm gonna start it from the beginning. It says, look, this happened when he was 12 years old. So I'm gonna start at Luke 2:41. It says, now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover, right? And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. And when they had fulfilled the days as they returned, the child Yahushai tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. So he stayed behind, basically. Yahushai stayed behind in Jerusalem. But they, supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintance. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. And it came to pass after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. So it took 3 days to find him, and when they finally found him, he was in the temple, right? And he's basically listening to the physicians of the law speaking about the law, and hearing them and asking questions. And let's keep reading verse 47. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers, because they were wooed at the fact that he knew all the things that he knew, right? They were wooed for the fact that he understood those things, and his answers as well, is because, well, he's the wisdom of the Most High, right? Verse 48. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I sought thee sorrowing. So they were like, why would you do this? They were like sorrowing. They couldn't find them. Took him 3 days to find them. Whole time he's in the synagogue. He's in the temple. And verse 49, it says, and he said unto them, how is it that ye sought me? Was ye not that I must be about my father's business? And what is he talking about? He's talking about the father's will, the father's business, basically carrying out the father's will. Yahweh Yahushai's will, him being Yahushai, the son, and Yahweh being the father, carrying out his will, because him and the father are one, right? That's a very beautiful scripture as well. It's a good account too, because Yahushua was only 12, and even at 12, he told his mother that, was ye not that I must be about my father's business? Man, Yahushua was wrong, man. So I'm gonna just end it off on that. Lord willing, it was an edifying lesson, and you could write these scriptures down, meditate on them, and hopefully you were edified. So with that, I'm gonna end it off. So call Allah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the water Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, for giving me the spirit to make this lesson. Wa Abba Baba Shalom.